Welcome back. I'm playing Warhammer 40,000 Battlesector, and we'll get started on our next multiplayer matchup. I am playing on the bridge map. We're doing Exterminatus mission objective for 3,000 points. I'm playing as the Orcs, and we're going against the Tau forces. It's a 3,000 army size contingent with a 100 point target and a 10 turn limit. If you're enjoying these matches, please give my channel a like and subscribe. Encourage me to post more content for you. And I'm going to try to just overwhelm him with cheap units, so we'll see how this works out. I'm going to try to have the Gretchen soak up as much of our Overwatch as we can, War Boys to buff everybody up, and Pain Boys to get additional health. Hopefully with all the sub-commanders we'll be able to soak up some damage here. So we've got 3 Weird Boys, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Pain Boys, 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, I think 8 Gretchen, 4 Knobs with Claws, I think 5 Burna Boys, 4 Ludas, and 4 Flash Gits. Now, unfortunately, the Flash Gits have a little less range, so I think they may have a little bit of difficulty getting some kills unless we're able to fight them on the bridge. But if these guys have to shoot across the bridges, then we're going to be in major trouble. And hopefully we'll be able to cross the distance, because if he goes infantry heavy, we're going to have a lot of difficulty with these guys to cross sides, because I don't have a lot of mobility. And if he has a big heavy flamer, heavy missile build, then he's just going to pick us apart unless we're able to close the distance. But this could be pretty rough depending on what his force selections are. So we'll move up with the Gretchen. Hopefully the flamers will let us shoot down anything that, if he does go with a heavy infantry build, we're going to want to use the Pain Boys to be within a couple spots of our guys so everybody gets a health bonus. So we're going to have to be a little careful with that we don't overextend. Now, in retrospect, one of the knobs I have has the doesn't have claws because I didn't have enough points. So I'm a little worried that I maybe have too many Gretchen here, because I think what I'm going to run into is I'm just going to have so many units here, as you can see how long it's taken me to move all these forces, that I may not be able to get into combat unless I can get Shroud here. So we'll see how this goes. But I think I should have gone with more Burnas to try to get some more AoE attacks, and then maybe even focused on upgrading the knobs. But I want to soak up as much Overwatch as I can, and it looks like he's gonna go with more drones here, so we'll see what we can do here. Hopefully we'll keep enough guys together here that we can then run in there with our flamers and do a bunch of damage. We gotta be a little careful that we don't get ourselves sniped, because I'd hate to lose some of our commanders already. The drones have 5 movement, so we gotta be a little careful. And he must have ethereal back there, as you can tell with the 15% HP and then 15 evasion is what those 2 buffs are that are on them right now, and those last for 2 turns, and the cooldown for the ethereals every 2 turns. So we'll try to keep these guys all in the front here. Try to get as many shots as we can.
If we have to, we'll move.
We'll bring them back a little bit, because I want to have the Pain Boy over here, and then I want to give the Warpath to as many guys as I can. We got to keep him kind of near the back though, because what we don't want is to have him end up getting sniped. Bring our Pain Boy up here. Now, I'm not sure how much damage the Gretchen are going to do against the infantry. I was hoping that if I just kind of had guys in the, if I locked the guys down in with the zone of control with the Gretchen, they would, oh, that's unfortunate. Just suffered some damage there. What I can do is I can bring them back a little bit, and I can heal with the Pain Boy. But my hope is that if he goes infantry heavy, ah shit, fail, that I can lock down with the Gretchen with all those pistol shots, because hopefully they won't have very much armor. And if he has a lot of Pathfinders with the ion rifles and things like that, they'll be able to soak up a bunch of Overwatch, so I don't get my Knobs and Burnas killed. And the Burnas themselves actually have quite a bit of health, so hopefully they can soak up some shots too prior to getting taken out.
Gorky's with us.
I'll get the warpath going there too. I just want to get all the health I can to try to make him shoot through everything. And I'm just trying to decide, like, how far do I want to move our guys here.
Putting more holes in them than the war boss's plans. Oh, sorry, boss.
It's like, do I want to move up? I feel like I do.
Oh, no. You's looking at me.
The issue with engaging at this spot is because the bridge is open here, they'll have easier time shooting into me from this location here, so he might be able to snipe my forces, which I'm not super excited about, but what I'm hoping is that he's gonna be aggroed enough to come and then stay in there so I can get the flamers here. So I was not expecting those guys to shoot over there. Alright, so we still got one little drone there. So he is. He's gonna snipe down my flash skits here. I think if all of them do attacks there, they should be able to wipe them. Yeah, he must have got shots and he's bugging out, but so guys are dying. He's going with a crisis suits build. He's got breachers. He's got a cadre. Strike team. Alright, yep, here come all the missiles. He's got broadsides there. Those guys will be able to get the kill, finish off those burners here. Yeah, so what he's going to do is he's going to stay back, make me come to him, and then try to get all those shots into us, and then the breachers will stop me from being able to get in there. And here come all the missiles. And the nice thing with that is because he has so many marker lights, he has guaranteed missile shots there. Yep, now he's going to try to kite me.
Ah, something new to kill. What's not on fire?
Alright, well, we'll move these guys over here to start flaming here. And they're down. Now what I wasn't sure is if I came over and flamed over the edge, if I'd be able to hit units or not. So I wasn't quite sure how to move these guys. And I don't have enough to strafe anything yet. So it's like I want to engage these guys and I want to take out the dang breachers, but I'm not sure the best way to do that because I don't have much for burners down here, and then I have the burners here, but I'm not really seeing a lot of infantry over here. And unfortunately it looks like it's going to be a little difficult for my orcs to get over here to start using their debuff, so I'm just trying to figure out how far I want to be here, because I don't think there's anything I can do to do like charge attacks. So we'll just move the Gretchen up to see what we can do here. And we can bring the flash kits up a little bit more. So it looks like we can safely advance them another one here. So what I was thinking is like, well, I'll move them up here, and if I can take down this Hammerhead gunship, then I should be able to explode it, and then I can do a lot more damage to everybody around there. So, and it costs a lot of points, so I thought, yeah, that'll be the best way of doing this. With might is right, you know. But it's like, shoot, I'm not going to have enough to do damage here. And the rest of these guys are too far away. And I didn't realize I could use flamers over the edge of the bridges to flame into these infantry in the center, because, you know, in retro, I discovered that later in the match, but definitely mistakes were made here. So now I'm like, well, how could I move these guys around, because I need to maximize the amount of HP buffs that I give my guys here. And I'm like, well, I think these Gretchen are going to do a bunch of damage to drones, so maybe we just run them down here, and I can soak up some Overwatch. So I run them down here, but it's like, oh, it didn't even set off the Overwatch. So I'm like, well, we'll move them down here, and it's like, oh shit, I still don't have Overwatch being triggered. I run away with that unit because I don't want them to get the points to kill them. So it's like, alright, I guess we'll just kill them here. But I could have at least killed one of those units with the flamer as well to help me get down these stairs, because now what's happening is I'm getting stuck where I can't get through. And it's like, oh, I'm barely doing any damage right now. It's like, well, we'll shoot whoever we can then. So it's like, I guess we're going to be firing into these warrior strike teams.
What's the plan?
But that is not what I want to be shooting right now. And it's like, well, I can kill those infantry down here, or maybe if I move these guys around, I can shoot into the Hammerhead. Because I'm still hoping, like, oh man, if I could kill that Hammerhead, that would be really great. I've got a 50% chance to hit it, and if I use might is right, that's more armor piercing, 50% more shots, so I'm like, I should do decent damage. But it's like, oh, okay, so that's probably not great.
Orcs is the best, and us flash kits are the best orcs.
So now I'm starting to get a little dented, like, man, maybe I should have been just taking out these guys in the center so I could close the distance more.
Orcs is the best, and us flash kits are the best orcs.
But I'm trying to figure out, like, what the hell do I want to do here? It's like, I've got these knobs. Maybe I can use the knobs to shoot with their pistols, but I'm not quite sure. And I'm like, well, let's just bring the Ludas over here, because I want to keep trying to get the kills. But now I've effectively blocked off my burner boys, which now aren't going to be getting any attacks over here. So I'm like, oh man, lots of bad decisions here. And you know, it's like, okay, so there's decent damage, but now I've just wasted multiple units attacks for all these turns, and I don't have anything to show for it. It's like, I'd like to really take some of these breachers out, and if I would have actually killed some models, then I'd probably have more command points. So I'm like, alright, well, let's try to get some kills here, I guess.
Orcs is the best, and us flash kits are the best orcs.
So it's like, let's pull that guy back. I pull the pain boy back. I was debating, like, should I use his attack to go there or not? And I bring these guys up here to do the attack to strike out the strike team. Because I was thinking, well, if I get the kill here, then I can use the other knobs to run in here and kill the next round of guys.
Burst of the burst.
not realizing that now I've blocked my, I had to do 2 to get around that corner. So I'm like, shit, well now I can't get in to engage anybody there either. So it's like, well, am I going to come after the breacher team? I feel like those are the most dangerous guys here. But had I used some flamers, I could have taken some of those other guys out too.
What's the plan?
And it's like I decided to take out the strike team, but then it's like, I probably should have just taken out the breachers. Because at least then they'd have less models to fight me with.
Ready to saw bones.
It's like, well, at least we got the heal off there, but it's like, oh, this is looking pretty sketchy because now he's got multiple breachers over here. It's like I've still got my units here, and now they can't really do a whole lot. It's like, I guess I could potentially go down all the way around to try to catch them as they're running, but that I'm not going to be able to hold that right side very long. And it's like, now that I've blocked my burners in, they can't do anything. And it's like, I did not get nearly enough kills to get those command points up, because I was thinking I was going to have a strafing run by the time I was all done here, but because I focused all those attacks on the hammerhead and then didn't get the kill, I don't get the command points for taking that out. So now I'm like, well shit, what do I do here? Because I don't want him to come down and snipe my Ludas or my flash gets, because right now those ranged units are the only thing that are really doing damage for me. So it's like, I guess we'll run our knobs up here, and then maybe we can use them just to body block and protect our units. We can bring the flash gets to hopefully take some cover there.
What's not on fire?
We'll set up some overwatch here, but that's not going to really pay much for dividends for us here. And we're still pretty far away back here. So now I'm just trying to figure out, well, how do I want to position our guys to stop them from getting flamed now that I've done all this. It's like, well, let's try not to get too close together because I don't want to get hit by the flamers. If I come up a little bit, then maybe I can blind some units here. So it's like, alright, I guess I'll blind the tactical drones just to do something. And if I bring these guys up, I at least get the next ones here. But ideally, I would like to take out those breachers, but they'll come down and use the grenades, the photon grenades, which not only lowers my ranged accuracy, but also my evasion. So it's like, oh man, this is not looking good. So now he's launching his rockets in. And those guys are heavily armored, so they soak up all those shots with minimal damage. Now everybody else can advance forward. He's buffing everybody. He just hit 4 units with that one grenade. Gretchen are going down. Another one's down. So as you see, the Gretchen can take a good amount of shots there. Now, I was quite surprised by this, but with all that evasion, they were able to move and not get suppressed there. So now he's into the flash gets, and he's going to be able to kill them with the breachers here. He's just going to sit back and snipe these guys. And now he's starting to throw photon grenades down here. Now, the knobs have a lot of health, so they're able to take quite a bit of damage here, but even with that, they're still getting hit pretty hard. Yep, so there goes my knobs with power claws. And he's got breachers here, so they're gonna take out my pain boy, I imagine. Yep. Ethereal's coming down to start buffing all these guys. And it's like, alright, well now I've almost gotten to 3, so it's like I could do strafing runs, or if I can get to 3, I can drop the bomb on him. And he's got everybody blocked together there, so I'm like, maybe there's actually a good chance I could potentially do that. All my guys are blind though, so I'm not crazy about that. It's like, well, I can at least bring my burner boys up here and they should be able to fight and shoot into these breachers. Now, unfortunately, because of the model loss, I wasn't able to kill both of them. And I was, again, shocked with how little damage the Gretchen did there. I mean, I appreciate that they're blinded with the flash, or the photon grenade, but still, man, I was really expecting a lot more out of them. So I was definitely regretting spending quite as much points as I did on them here. It's like, alright, so they're down. I wasn't expecting him to take that square. So it's like, well, I guess since you're now locked in here, I'm going to do that. So it's like, well, let's get the Gretchen out of there. And now we got the knobs. It's like, let's do that. And we'll just have you fight here. And I was like, shit, I was thinking they were going to do a lot more damage than that. So it's like, damn, I should have just taken out those other models if I would have known that was going to be the case. Because now, instead of having 5 units shooting me, I still have 7 plus their grenades. It's like, it didn't really make a huge improvement here. It's like he at least prudently moved his guys so the rear is at an angle. So they attack here. It's like, shit, alright, so those guys aren't dead now. It's like, well, maybe just bring the Ludas back here, although I can just run up here with the weird boy and hopefully he can get the kill. And he cannot. It's like, alright, well, now the Gretchen should be able to. And of course all my guys are blind, so now they can't get any shots off. So it's like, not only am I shooting through obstacles, but I've got blind guys. So I'm like, damn, this is not working well. And now I'm like, alright, I gotta know, can I shoot over the bridge with the flamer? And it's like, okay, I can in some places, but not others. So I'm like, what the hell is this? It's like, alright, well, whatever. Let's move them down further and see. And it's like, yes, okay, so I can flame these guys. So I could have been flaming for the last couple of turns down into the center there to take out some of those drones. So I'm like, shit. Alright, well, learning point there. And of course now I've got all these Gretchen here, so now I can't get these other guys where I want them to be. It's like, well, I'm pretty sure I can kill these guys. And they can't. So luckily they were, but now I have those other Gretchen like stuck in position.
Well, if we have to,
So I'm trying to figure out how I can position these guys to do something here. It's like, well, let's just bring the burners down so at least I can get these guys cleared out so we can start advancing on the stairs. Move them up. I should at least be able to take out the ethereal with these guys. He's down, so that's good. It's like, I really want to take out the breachers. Because they're the guys that are doing the most damage to me. Just can't line up attacks worth of shit right now. It's like, alright, now I'm doing a lot of getting command points up, so now it's like, shit, I should have just been taking these guys out earlier. Because then I would have been able to do some more strafing runs, and I would have just taken out those breachers with the strafing runs. But now that I'm this far, I should be able to get to 3 just by focusing these kills. My hit chance is just abysmal. It's like, alright, so my accuracy's down, my evasion's down. Let's do this. It's like, alright, well, you killed a few models, I guess.
Ready to saw bones.
The pain boy's still over there. We're almost there. I just gotta kill a few more models. And it's like, alright, so the Ludas should get me there. I just gotta figure out who I want to fight.
What's the plan? Ludas have the best shooters.
It's like, if I move you up here, you've got 26 and 37. So just shoot into these guys. It's like, ugh. I was really thinking he was gonna go down. It's like, let's try to get some kills here. It's like, alright, that clearly didn't work. I was hoping this one flash kit here would be able to at least take out a model, but with how low his hit chance is, obviously that did not work. But I'm now up to 3. So I'm like, alright, I think if I drop the bomb in the center here, this should kill the infantry. And it almost does.
The old ways is best.
And now the question is, well, what do I want to do with these guys? It's like, I think we just keep advancing here. Just to try to create some zone of control since those crisis suits are almost dead. But there's definitely no way I can get in position to kill any of his better units. And unfortunately, I think he's going to be at least to level 2 now with his units to fight me. And now I'm just trying to figure out who I'm going to use here. It's like, alright, well, I can't get there with the knobs. I'm like, oh shit, I forgot that I still had the flash kits here. So it's like, alright, well, let's just shoot into these guys since you're probably going to die next turn. And it's like, do I keep you along the wall to keep them protected, or do I try to get him over on the side here so he can lock both of those down? And I thought, well, let's just lock everybody down, I guess. I bring the Gretchen there. bring the pain boy over here to try to buff everybody's health and make it redundant. And then it's like, well shit, I should have just had the knobs go instead of the Gretchen. And then at least the knobs would maybe be able to get into combat in a turn or two against these guys in the center. But now I've got them over here, so I'm like, well, I guess maybe I'll try to run them around and keep them with the burner boys. But at this point in time, it's like, this is not looking good. It's like the points are pretty close, but the following turn is not going to be good for us because we are now getting very vulnerable. Most of our heavy hitters are all dying. He's going to keep launching rockets on us and be able to pick off our units here.
It's our time.
So it's like, alright, well, let's run the knobs down, I guess.
I think I can stitch that back. So fingers. I love it.
And they can't get the kill either, but that would have been exceptional shooting with a slugga for sure.
Burst of the burst.
Now what I think ends up happening is the ethereal buff, I think, takes it from their total health, not what's actually left on the bar. Now don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure that's how that works. But yeah, I was quite surprised with how little damage the splash did there against the other vehicles. Like, I was expecting it to be quite a bit more. It's like, I want to keep advancing with our weird boy, but I also don't want to get him sniped, so I can hopefully try to do some strafing runs yet. If I'm going to survive. Alright, so he's able to just start picking off all these guys here. He's adding some marker lights on. And he's actually dropping more crisis suits down, I think is what that was all about. Yep, I can see him flying there in the air. Yeah, so the cadre just sniped those guys down. Breachers are here. There's 2 units in the squad and it did 150 damage. Now, he did try to do a charge attack with his ethereal, and that's why he ended up taking all that damage, is with all those pistols. They do quite a bit of damage. Yeah, so they're just gonna start kiting me now. And then with him using the crisis suit summoning, that should allow him to keep getting more units with more and more missiles, unfortunately. So I bring this guy over here with the hopes of being able to buff everybody, so they take less damage. Get the heal here.
Cyborg legs, ready to go.
And it's like, well, I think everybody else is pretty much healed, so I guess we'll just come here. He's healed. And it's like, well, let's bring you over to here. We'll bring you to here. And hopefully you will be able to kill this frickin' breacher this time. And they do. So it's like, alright, well, at least I can get my flamers up here, my burners. And they should be able to shoot up here. And might be able to kill some models, which they do. And they also significantly harm those other guys. So I move them to the side, so hopefully my guys down here can get some shots. It's like I move those knobs up because I need to try to get them as far as possible.
Orcs is the best, and us flash kits are the best orcs. Orcs is the best, and us flash kits
It's
are
like,
the
well,
best
let's
orcs.
move the flash kits over. Unfortunately, they're probably going to overkill, but if I can get some kills, we'll try to get some kills.
If you say so.
Pain Boy can be over here.
Lures have the best shooters. Well, if we have to, we'll move.
And now I'm just trying to decide who I want to shoot. It's like I'm pretty sure the Gretchen should be able to kill those crisis suits if I attack the rear. So I'm like, well, let's take out those dang breachers so they don't
Well, if we have to,
don't
we'll
keep
move.
fighting me there. And it's like, oh shoot, I thought we were gonna get to 2 here with these kills, but I guess not. So I'm like, well, I guess we're gonna just run down the center and see what happens. I'll keep that flash boy or flash get away so he doesn't get sniped, but again, this is not going to be looking good for us. Hit that pain boy there to try to buff everybody up.
Lures have the best shooters.
But now the issue is I've got these guys all the way over here, and I can't really do a whole lot with them. So I'm like, alright, I guess we'll just attack here. And it's like I just now got past the bonus health that he got with his ethereal. And it's like, alright, you should be able to do that. And I shoot in, and he didn't even get a single model kill. So I'm like, oh my god. So now it's like, shit, I thought for sure that was going to get a kill. So now we've got a crisis suit that's up here, going to be able to wipe out a whole unit.
Ready to saw bones.
It's like, well, I guess we're going to just keep advancing you to try to get up there, but probably going to get taken out, I imagine.
Oh no, you looking at me.
So we'll have you try to shoot onto the stairs.
Yes, boss. Orcs is the best, and us flash kits are the best orcs.
Alright, so he's moving his breachers over, and because they're still alive, he's going to start debuffing all my guys. They've got their rockets, and so now they're able to start rocketing down my guys. Takes 3 to take out the knobs, or the flash kits, I mean. He flames down the Gretchen. Breachers come over. They're going to start getting shots at the guys here.
Not under fire.
He's summoning additional crisis suits.
Pain is in your mind. Quite a lot of it, actually.
He's prudently trying to kill my pain boy, so he can get all that, not have to deal with all that extra health stuff. Drops him. Killed the flash gets, so then there's somebody else there. Took out those guys. Everybody's doing their missile attacks. He's going to be able to successfully drop down those Ludas, so I'm not going to have anybody to do range very much now. He must be using his attacks to... I'm not sure how he got that attack. I don't know if he used the cadre to get 100% accuracy, but somehow he sniped down my knobs and my weird boy everybody else, and he's still using rocket attacks with those crisis suits. And he now has 2 other ones, so they'll have another 6 rockets here. He's bringing everybody up to buff them up again, I imagine. Yep. So it's like, alright, well, we got 2 command points.
What's the plan?
But it's like I've got 2 Ludas that can't barely reach over there. 2 Gretchen that can't do anything. Ludas that can't get in any attacks. So I got 3 Ludas actually. So I do think the Ludas paid dividends for us. The problem is that I just can't get shots off. And I keep getting blind.
Well, if we have to, we'll move.
And now I'm just trying to figure out, like, well, where's the best place to try to get some shots? It's like, alright, I guess it's gonna be here. Thought, well, if I move you here, that should be even better, right? And it's like, well, not necessarily. It's like, well, let's commit. Let's come up one more. And it's like, full cover now. Can't see those guys. 37.
Nothing.
It's like, well, let's do our strafing run here. Now, when I was playing against the, playing orcs, or I was playing as Tau against orcs, when they did a strafing run, they were able to one-shot my cadres. Now, I don't think the cadre actually had the buffs from the ethereal, but I was like, well, maybe if I kill the cadre and the ethereal this turn, and then the following turn I can take out those crisis suits that are almost dead. But it's like, alright, so I did 95 damage, so I barely did anything there. I couldn't even break through the ethereal's resistance on the broadsides there. So I'm like, I think this is pretty much over at this point in time. I don't think there's anything I can really do to take out these crisis suits. And his commander should just be able to jump around and flame my units to get kills.
The old ways is best.
And if I try to run around the other side, you know, I can't get to combat. So I'm like, well, let's bring you up here. Maybe you can shoot up into them. And it's like, not really, actually. So I ended up conceding because there wasn't really a whole lot for me to do. I think it was pretty obvious that that one was not going to go well for us. But so this was, I think, the first time where the drones actually created enough interference with my movement that it definitely seemed to have an adverse outcome on the match. Now, I think what I should have done is, instead of using the knobs with just the regular loadout because they didn't do enough damage, to just go with more burners, because if I would have had more burners, I could have at least done more AoE attacks and really gotten through that front line easier. And then realizing that the burners can shoot over the edge of the bridge, at least onto that second area, if depending on where the units are, because that would have helped me take out some breachers and you know, strike squad, some other things like that to help me do more damage. I think this shows the importance of really trying to take out a breacher squad, because you're thinking, oh, it's just going to be 1 or 2 units, but they get to keep using, you know, the additional marker lights and their photon grenades, which lowers your ranged accuracy and your evasion, so it makes it easier for them to get killed, your units to get killed, and it makes it so you then have 2 turns where you can't have your regular accuracy. So it's just a major debuff for a lot of units, especially when you're trying to mad rush those stairs to get into combat with those other units. I think you gotta, and the Gretchen were definitely a big letdown. I mean, I think the takeaway for this is that they're good for soaking up Overwatch, but they can't reliably do enough damage to count on them killing breachers and strike squads and pathfinders, things like that. And surprisingly, they don't seem to suppress enough, but I think that's because when they ultimately get photon grenade, that affects their accuracy so much that they miss at such a large amount of their attacks that they no longer become suppression specialists, because I find, especially when I'm playing as the sisters against orcs, that all those pistol shots definitely suppress guys pretty regularly. So I was definitely very disappointed that we had so many of those go off this time and we didn't suppress a single unit. That was pretty frustrating. The Ludas definitely do good damage. They can hit guys and chew through infantry, can do decent damage against the heavily armored guys. The flash gets obviously are your main damage dealer from range. Knobs do well when you have the power claws, but their regular attacks are not powerful enough to chop through things, especially with the evasion. I think a big thing, if you're going to play orcs on this map, I think going Stormboy heavy would be very beneficial, because then you could sit there, you can jump in and do the charge attacks, and then when they ultimately get significant damage, you can then just use them as their exploding charge attack. I forget what it's called, but then you can, even if there's only one model in there, you get that big significant splash attack and you almost turn them into grenades, and that would have definitely paid some dividends off for me. And then on a map like this, it would have helped me cross that distance, either get behind guys to allow me to attack the guys in the middle or on one side of the bridge to cross the bridge to the other side, because he was body blocking me so effectively that I just couldn't. I was so railroaded that I couldn't get over to the other side, and it just allowed him to just sit back and shoot me turn after turn after turn after turn and do a ton of damage. Now, unlike the Space Marines, the Orc strafing run, now the Orc strafing run is better than the Space Marines strafing run, but unfortunately because it took 2 action points, I couldn't spam the strafing runs to take out those breachers as easily as I did on the Space Marines, because the Orcs, like I said, was a turn to 2 command points. Now I was very disappointed with that bomb. I wonder if the splash damage to the bomb is not very high, and that's why it did such little damage to the vehicles. Now, you can almost one-shot a crisis suit, so it's good to know that for the future, and I think it will one-shot a crisis suit, especially if they don't have the ethereal buffs. And the splash damage definitely does good damage against the low-tier infantry, if not outright killing them. But against the vehicles, it doesn't do very good damage. So that was a good learning point. The same with the commander and crisis suits. It's good splash damage against everybody else, but not to the vehicles. And then obviously the unit that it does hit, it does huge amounts of damage too. And it has good armor piercing on the one it damages. On this map, I think it could potentially be good to bring the boys with you, especially if you use the big shooters, because if they can't get into a range, then they can throw the grenades, and I could have been lobbing those off over the ledge of the bridge here, which would have helped clear guys out, and also done damage to the breachers, and then I could have used the big shooters to do more damage at range, to snipe down crisis suits, and the commander, and do some other good things there, because what is happening is I just couldn't get there to do enough damage, and then the breachers were getting the flamers were just getting taken out with all the missiles. So he did a good job focus firing down on those guys, because that was gonna be what was gonna allow my knobs to get into combat, because if the knobs would have gotten into combat with the crisis suits, we would have been able to shut them down for sure, but we just couldn't quite get there. And then we couldn't get our weird boys into combat good enough to be able to use the headbanger to snipe down the crisis, either crisis suit or his HQ or the hammerheads or the broadsides. You know, that's guaranteed 50 damage from range, and then using the warpath to be able to increase everybody's damage and their damage resistance. So it just did not work out well for closing the distance. He did an excellent job kiting me, and I just could not get there. So thanks for watching. I hope you're enjoying these videos. If you are, please give my channel a like and subscribe. Encourage me to post more content for you. Have a great day.